What's going on, guys? It's Saro here, and in this video I'll be showing you guys everything you need to know about playing Jett. Last act I hit Immortal 3 by basically one-tricking Jett, and at this point I think I have enough knowledge to make a guide like this. Today I'll be going over the map Ascent, so let's begin. So the first thing I would like to mention is that if you haven't already, you should change your ability keybinds. If you want to play Jett, it is in your best interest to not keep using Q and E. This is because you want to be in full control of WASD while dashing. So if I press E to dash and I want to dash to the right, I would have to put my fingers between E and D, and that'll be like a weird motion. So what I recommend is setting these ability keybinds to your side mouse button. So I have it as thumb mouse button 2 and thumb mouse button 1. So if I want to dash to the side, I can just press D and side mouse button, I'll dash. The same thing pressing A. And this is just like a lot better, and you won't be stuck in this position where you're dashing not the way you want to be dashing. So let's begin with A. When attacking as Jett, it is very important to entry and open up space for your team. You don't want to be the last person in, and you want to play your role as a duelist and always be the first person in the fight, clear up space and help your teammates get the kills. When you're pushing a main over here, it is very important to grab this orb or have control of this because it's a free orb that you could get to your ult. In the lower lobbies, people usually give this orb for free. So if you're below, like I'd say maybe below plat, you usually get this orb for free every single round. So you could literally just farm your ult. But in like the higher ranks where people start actually holding main, you could do the bicycle jump on top of this, and you could hold from here. And maybe you could like one-way smoke over here, and you could grab the orb, see if they push up. You just want to get this orb because it's very important. The first way to entry is to smoke the double stack boxes and dash, and you could just open up your map and mark right in front of it. So this is because if this is smoked off by an Omen, you could still, you still know where you're throwing your smoke. And as you're dashing, you actually want to dash sideways, looking on top of this, so you could clear it. And this allows you to quickly enter onto site without getting shot from door and garden. So it should look like this. And after you land in the smoke, you always want to walk out to the right side, because when you walk out to the right side, you're not exposed to basically anything. You just have to clear this, and then you could peek heaven and then generator. But if you walk out from the left side, you could actually get shot from a lot more angles. So you definitely don't want to walk out from the left side. You want to quickly walk out of the right side smoke as soon as you get in. So this is what it should look like in an actual game. So that's the first way to entry and clear site. The next notable way to entry is to actually smoke the top of the generator over here. By just controlling your smoke, you could just smoke it like that. And what you want to do is you want to dash updraft on top of it, so it should look like this. And this way, nobody will really expect you to be here. And if this is combined with like flashes, they're gonna not hear anything, and you're gonna be like right above them. Like if they're generator over here, and if they're hell, you could actually see their feet. So this is a very good spot, and it's very good if they aren't expecting it, which most of the time they aren't. So to actually do this, you want to make sure you're lining up with like this part right here. And you just kind of want to practice it, like get the hang of it. You want to just jump updraft. You want to make sure you're landing on the side, because as you can see, the side is lower elevation than up here. So you're going to get it more consistently if you aim to the side. Also, you should always be going first, so your dash doesn't get blocked, because if you're in between your teammates, they're going to usually run up and you're going to get blocked. So you always want to be the first one in. Just quickly smoke, dash like this, like start clearing space, because if you go between your teammates or if you're behind them, you're going to get blocked, and also you're just not going to be able to play your role as a entry. However, you don't want to be too far ahead as where your teammates can't trade you, because let's say I smoke generator over here, I dash on top of it, and I kill a guy double stack, and I get killed from heaven. If your teammates are so far back into main that they can't even kill the guy heaven, that means you're playing way too far ahead. You need to make sure that you're with your team. And every time you want to do like one of these executes, you want to make sure to tell your team that you guys want to all rush. Because if you're just doing this by yourself and your team's on the other side of the map, that's not very like beneficial to you or your team. As for post plans, some really good spots for Jett and like overall characters in general, but I think since you're like usually far ahead as Jett, you want to like play these angles. So the first one I recommend is right against this small box over here, right below Hell, and this is a very good off angle for people coming into Heaven, and they really won't expect it because you're really low to the ground. Like as you could see, here. If I crouch right here, my head is actually at this elevation. Here. So somebody pushing actually can't even see you until they go this close. And at this point, they're exposed to the entire site. So they probably won't be looking at this specific spot. So I actually get a lot of kills of people just running out like this because they're just oblivious to your location. And this is a very good spot. Also because you're not exposed to the door, because anybody that's pushing door can't actually see you from here. And you're very defended from everything except for main. So as long as your teammates have control of main, this is a very good spot to sit in. Also, another very good, nice spot is right below Hell. And if you look at these planks over here, as you can see, there's like a gap over here. If you aim at this, you will actually be able to spray to your opponents that are trying to push out. You're gonna like basically hit them. And you don't wanna be too up close, because if you're too close, then your shots will be going way too high up. If you sit back like this, your shots are basically like they're more likely to hit them. So that's why you want to sit back, and you could get a lot of kills like this. And you could even do this with like a ghost because it has medium penetration. So you could just spray through this, and it's actually very good. It's when you're on top of this generator, after you obviously entry and dash on top of it, as like shown before, like this. Like once you're on top of here, you could actually aim between these two things right here and throw a smoke. And this is a very good one-way for anybody that's coming in. As you could see, I could see all the way of people, even though they're sitting against the back wall. But they can't actually see any of you. It's very different if you want a 5-man B rush or if you want to like play it slowly. But usually like on the first few rounds, you kind of want to just 5-man rush things because you just have pistols and like save weapons. So what you could actually do is you could ask your Omen to stand right here and flash this entire thing so that if somebody is holding, they will automatically have to fall back because they will be blinded and they can't play close. So what you could do is if there's a Sova on the enemy team and he usually darts on top, you could actually just throw your smoke before it and you won't scan any of you guys. So you could just push upside after you smoke it. And there's also an orb here, and this orb is very easy to get. Nobody usually holds this, especially if you have Omen flashed it. But you shouldn't get this orb because you're gonna slow down the lot by going all the way up here and then grabbing it. So you're probably your Omen or like somebody that plays like support is gonna have to grab this orb. So after you have control of B main, what you want to do is you want to actually smoke market because you're already here before your Omen and he's probably gonna smoke CT first. So you just want to aim in this general location over here of the top of this rectangle and just throw your smoke. And this should stall for the meantime. And then you have 2 ways to enter the site. So the first way that I really like is smoking a lever of both and then dashing and closing the door right away. And after you do this, you could just sneak up behind and go stairs. And if your team is pushing out with you, the enemy's probably going to be holding right lane. So you're going to go right behind them and get a free kill. This is very good in all sorts of lobbies. I always get kills like this. And if they only have one person playing site, this is a very good way to entry. It is also worth mentioning that when you dash, you go farther if you jump dash than regular dash. As you can see, if I just normally dash right here, I go this far. But if I press jump and dash at the same time, as you can see, you go like a few meters further. So this is like very good if you just want to enter into site. Like if I just dash right here, it's not the best. But if I jump dash, I'm already on top of here and I could close the door instantly. So always have that in mind. So the next way to entry is to updraft over bow house. So what you could do is come close over here and updraft, and then you could dash. And this will usually catch people off guard. And if there's like a Sova on site, he might have his shock darts out, or they usually don't expect it at all because you just push sight so quickly. Also, when you're updrafting over Bauhaus, it is worth mentioning that if you just jump updraft, you don't go as far as if you slide. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If I actually just updraft and I slide and then I dash, I will actually go very far. As you can see, I reached the entire backside, so you kind of want to slide for a second before you dash. So let me show you how it looks like in full speed. The goal of all of this is to clear the site for your planter so they can safely plant. You want to always make sure to clear back sight before you try to even push out or anything. So just your goal is to make sure the site is clear. So on B, there's also a thing called a log jump. So you could actually jump from this ground right here all the way onto the market ledge without any abilities. So what you could do is line up the logs, the left side of the logs like this with the door, or like around this area like this. And then you want to run, jump, and then crouch, like as you're landing, like hold crouch as you're landing. So as you can see, I could quickly push. So if you cleared site already, or if your teammates are already on site, you could confuse your enemies and they won't expect you to be all the way over here that quickly. They usually just hold this and then they're going to walk out. You usually get the first shot on them. So this is a very good spot as well. On defense, since you're playing Jett, there's really no specific set that you should be holding. You should just remember to be creative and be, most importantly, unpredictable. So starting off on A main, you could actually throw a one-way smoke over here if you aim on the top. And this should buy you some time, and if they actually decide to push through, you could just spray them down. They won't be able to see you. And another thing you could do with this is that this will get you time to actually walk into line. And usually people don't clear this, especially in the lower ranks. As for playing site, you should either play behind double green boxes or behind generator. In very rare situations, you could actually updraft on top of this. And you only really want to do this is if they don't have a Reyna, because the Reyna flash will reveal you. And if they have like any other flash, you could just turn around. So if they have a Reyna flash, then you shouldn't go up here. But if you're playing green boxes, you could just crouch over here and just run, jump. And if you're doing this, they actually won't be able to kill you because your head appears for such a small amount of time that no human will be able to react to this unless they're already pre-aiming it, but nobody's going to be. So this is a very good for information. You could just quickly jump and see if they're there. And you also can't really get sprayed to this if you hug this metal part. Also, if you are ever stuck in a situation where the team is pushing site very hard and you are sitting behind the boxes, what you could do is you could actually turn around and look in the middle of this ledge, throw smoke, and then you could just updraft away. And for the entire time, the enemy can't see you. So this is very good if you have an op, because if they just all push out, you are basically dead because you can't shoot fast enough. So you could just play a retake with your team and smoke this. And if you get away like this, you probably won't even get shot and you can just play with your team. When you're retaking A site, you should also double smoke heaven like this. And push generator. And this is actually very good because the enemies will be one-wayed and they won't actually be able to see anything. As you can see, if there's somebody standing here, they won't be able to see me, but I'll be able to see their legs, so I could get a free kill.
Get out of my way!
So as for B site, you generally don't really want to be on B site because there's not many options to get away. But if you do end up playing B site because your team wants to play A and cat, then you just have to remember to be unpredictable and not sit in the same spot twice. So the first spot that I like holding on B is on the side of lane. So if you actually jump over here, you could kind of move over to the side And from this spot, you actually can't get seen from main, but you could still peek. So this is very good because when people push B site, they quickly clear lane, they see nobody's here, and then they just hold for market push. And as they're running like this is a good opportunity for you to quickly peek and shoot them in the back. And you could actually get 2 or 3 kills just like by sitting over here, and then you could just fall back site and play back. So the next spot I like to sit is on top of the default, on top of that box. So you could, if you're Jay, you could just glide towards it. You could just sit back here and they won't actually be able to see you, so you could just kill them once they push here, because nobody's gonna walk onto the site going like this. They're just gonna like see that this is clear, so they're just gonna peek like backside or something, and you could get a free kill. When retaking B, there's like one trick that I learned is that if you go in this wall over in this corner over here by market, you aim against like this like line of this window, and you just aim to the left of it, and you throw a smoke. This will actually be a one-way for the right side of backside.
Get out of my way!
So if you're retaking side, just make sure to throw this. And if you have your ult, you could actually updraft over here. And with the same mechanic of sliding, you could just go really far. And you could just clear up space for your team and try to retake the site. Also, when you're retaking B, there's another spot that if you go into this corner over here and you aim like where this container meets the roof, like right here, like, and you jump up draft at the same time, you'll actually go flung into the air. And if you double up draft, you can actually see back sight, and if there's somebody there, you can get a kill.
Get out of my way!
So the next question is, what do you buy as Jett? And generally on pistol round, it doesn't really matter that much. You could go Frenzy, Ghost, Classic, whatever you want. But if you really want to save for an op, you could actually just buy a Classic with one smoke, and you'll have $700, and you'll be able to get an op a lot sooner than if you just full buy. But usually I don't recommend this, and you could just go Frenzy with like some smokes, or Frenzy with light shield. That's very viable. As for later rounds, you just generally want to, like, you could buy anything a regular agent can buy, and it doesn't really like matter too much. But if you want to save for an op, I recommend just going a Bucky, and it's very cheap, and you could just hold an angle like this, and even if you get a kill, you could just dash away, and it's like very good with Jett. So I recommend trying out the Bucky, or maybe the Judge if you're Jett, because it's very good save weapon to try to get for an op. For the Bucky, if you mark things, you could actually see how far away they are. So if you're between 12 to 15 meters, I'll right click a one shot. So if somebody's standing hugging this wall, that will actually be a one shot to them up until this point right here. So that would also be a one shot to them. If you're too close to the Bucky, right click, it like shoots like one pellet, so it's not really going to kill them. So you just have to kind of play according to the 12 to 15 meter rule. But for left click, if they're 8 meters or less, so at this range, left click is going to one shot all the way up to this range. So you always want to have this in mind. So you could mark things, and from this range, a right click one shots, and from this range, a left click one shots. So you just want to basically play around those numbers. So buying an op. The op is the most expensive gun in the game, but it is extremely strong with Jett. And if you get this gun on defense, it is very easy to get kills, and it should secure you a bunch of rounds if you're able to hit your shots and you hold smart angles. So the next thing I'd like to go over are the opping spots for Jett. And to op on A main, what you could do is you could either hold it like this, but this is a very pre-fireable angle and a lot of people will expect it. So what I recommend is like throwing a one-way like this, and then just holding against the left wall. And this is a very good spot to hold, and here's an example of how it looks like from the enemy's perspective. So after you got a kill here, you could fall back with your dash right here, and you could actually go back to the green boxes. And you kind of want to hold like an off angle. You don't want to hold like this, because the Phoenix will just flash and it's going to go right here. But if you just hold it like so the box kind of covers half a main like this, you could just hold like for wide, and they'll have to like basically clear you twice. So from their perspective, they see that there's nobody here, then they're already like pushing up and clearing sight, and that's when you peek and you kill them. So you just want to hold like an off angle, and if they like commit to sight, you could just do the thing that I said earlier. You could just smoke and updraft away. Hopping on B is very simple. You just kind of want to just hug this wall with your crosshair, so they're just gonna run in and you're just gonna get a free kill. They're usually in a wide swing. Nobody's gonna really jiggle this. But if you think they're going to be walking, you can maybe hold a tighter angle like this or something. Also for B, if the enemy team doesn't have flashes, you could sit on top of this spot right here. This is very good because even if they smoke off CT, you'll still be able to see them. So this is a very good spot to hold, and you can just play retake with your team after you get a kill. The most important thing to remember is to always change your spot after getting killed with the op. Because if you just killed somebody B main with the op, they're not going to want to go B. They're going to be like, oh, we just got opt on B, so we're going to want to go like A. And then that's where, like, as playing Jett, you could just always be so unpredictable and then go A the next round. And then they're like, oh, let's try out mid. And then you go mid. So you just basically want to be going to the opposite site of where the enemies just went, especially if you opt them. But if they, like, let's say you're holding A main and they keep going B, just keep holding A until they come. So as for Jett's ultimate, her knives, it is worth remembering that if you updraft normally, you won't go as high as if you jump updraft. As you can see, I went a lot higher when I pressed jump and updraft at the same time. So when doing these spots, you always want to remember to jump and updraft instead of just updraft. So we have come to the end of the Ascent guide for Jett. I hope you guys learned something, and these videos take me a really long time to make, so make sure to subscribe. It really helps out a ton, and you can change your mind whenever you want. And that's all I have for today. Peace.